Welcome to the college football playoff. The season's had plenty of ups and downs, and all the drama has led up to this point, the first round of the 12-team playoff. And a home field advantage for one side. This place is rocking. This is a very intriguing matchup. One team that earned the right to host this game and enjoyed tremendous crowd support against another team that slipped into the playoff, trying to establish a tradition now of upsets in the first round of the CFP. As we'll see the number 11 seed in this playoff, the Arizona Wildcats, taking on the number 6 seed in the playoff, the Missouri Tigers. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Chris Fowler, joined as always by Kirk Herbstreit. And the playoff is here. We've got a tremendous on-campus environment. Can't wait to get this one started. The kickoff team is out there. Great energy as this college football playoff gets underway. Offense will take their first time out of the half to talk strategy here. Listen to the crowd energy here in the early going. This is a tough environment for visitors. Takes the handoff and he'll head left. Breaking free at the 35. Oh, and nothing but green grass ahead. Crosses the 10. Tackled just short of the goal line at the 1. What a run.
Chris, I know it's the first play of the game, but boy, nice job by this offensive line. The back gets behind him, picks up some positive yards.
Off the big play, they are pounding on the door here. First and goal. On the ground, trying to power toward the goal line. They try the middle, but gain nothing on that play.
The back just had nowhere to go. How about the defensive line? They eat up all the blocks up front, freeing those linebackers up to be able to make the play. Just a bad play all around for this offense.
And this big crowd doing everything possible to inspire this defense down here near the goal line. Trying to find the end zone off the right side. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Wildcats. This offense comes out, immediately gets points on the board. Welcome to the playoff.
Man, that's coming out on the field with a purpose. Look, it's playoff time. Everything you prepared for is earned here and now. And that opening drive was the fruits of that preparation.
The PAT is no good. Wow. The kickoff team on the field now as they get set to send this one away. He'll return it from inside the 10-yard line. And the coverage team brings him down at the 26. First down here for this offense. There's the handoff. Tackle made at the 37. That's a solid gain.
Chris, the thing that I love about this play is the running back showing great patience and then the vision to find that hole and then accelerate through it for a nice gain.
That's an important first down on that running play. Takes the handoff. It's Roberts. How's the spin move? Tackle made after a solid run by the junior. The offense going with the hurry up. Off the play fake, looking to throw on first down. He's moving out of the pocket. This one falls incomplete, but it looked like the defense jumped off sides.
What I always love to see on these offsides call is when they're always pointing at each other. You know, he did it. I didn't do it. Put it on him. But we know this time it's on the defense. They're going to make the right call.
Going to try to run inside, but nowhere to go.
That's a great play all around by this defense. Your first-level defenders hold their own at the point of attack, allowing the second and third-level players to roam free and make the tackle close to the line of scrimmage.
He'll hand it off. He make the stop, but not before a solid gain that time.
Well, the scouting report on this... that he is an elite ball carrier, and he is proving to be that here early in this game. These first few carries, not only the strength, but the quickness and acceleration to get upfield and get positive yards on display.
Missouri getting set with a 1st and 10 coming up. Off the play fake, looking to throw. Lets it go. Catch made, a lot of space now. They bring him down, but the game sets up the offense 1st and goal from the 10.
Chris, how about the offensive balance these last couple plays we're seeing from these guys? Not only are they balanced, but the explosiveness. A big run followed up by a big play through the air, and it puts a lot of pressure on this defense.
Second down and goal. And off inside, looking for the touchdown. Stopped short of the end zone. Spot the ball at the 2-yard line.
I tell you, to be able to pick up a nice gain like that, those offensive linemen have to sustain their blocks. Gave them a chance at a really nice gain.
Ball sits at the 2-yard line for 3rd and goal. Try to muscle toward the end zone on the ground. And he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Well, Chris, they come up short of the goal line here, but they've got to still consider going for it. You could try to punch it in from the 2, or I'm sure they've got a couple good handful of 2-point conversion plays that they could use for this kind of situation. Let's see what they can dial up.
Fourth and goal from the 2. Can this defense come up with a huge stop? Drops back from the shotgun, looking for an open man. But it's incomplete. The defense makes a huge 4th down stop.
Chris, they had it. They had exactly what they wanted. I can't believe this would have been a touchdown, but he drops the ball on 4th down.
The offense will call a timeout. That's their 2nd of the half.
Timeout, Arizona.
Listen to this crowd noise. This stadium is vibrating. That's why this is such a tough place for visitors to play. Just a small gain, looking at 2nd and 9.
See, that's how you limit what an offense wants to do. This time, the defense just won the battle up front at the line of scrimmage, not giving up any big plays. Everybody's gap sound. It's really solid defense on that play.
Second down after that run on the previous play. Handoff to the back. The junior able to bring him down quickly.
He's tackled at the 5-yard line. It's third down.
They're backed up here, trying to make something happen on 3rd and long. Looking to pass. It's Fafita. Makes a quick catch. Finding space at the 20. Stopped short of the 25, but it's enough to move the sticks.
And you just continue to see the chemistry between these two. And they told us yesterday in our production meeting, they spent hours and hours of working and developing.
They're way better, and he looks like MVP anyway. But yeah, I think the casual fan feels like Lamar, and he's got Derrick Henry.
So I think that's right.
Josh doesn't have anything
I
like that.
think that, and again, I think my questions about Lamar in the playoffs are well documented. And if he plays poorly and loses, it's a whole different discussion that we will re-enter. And I obviously think I think they're both great players, but I don't have as many questions about Josh in the playoffs. But losing in the same round 4 years in a row is also a rarity. We can show it to you. Obviously, a different Bill did it, Jim Kelly. This would, Andy Dalton, it was held against him forever. This would be 5 years in a row. I'm sorry, no. This would be the 4th year if he loses, pardon me, because he lost the Chief AC title game. So it's kind of a weird spot where the joke I was making about round 1 of the playoffs, an overmatched team goes to Buffalo and gets their teeth kicked in, being the high watermark of the Bills' season for a half-decade, is something, and 3 straight home playoff losses is another one that would be a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, the loss that, to me, kills him is the Burrow loss, the Cincinnati loss.
Because they got blown out?
That was at home, yeah, and it just, they were supposed to win that game. That was their year.
All right, that game starts 6:30 on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Texans are going to be at Arrowhead on Saturday. Mahomes and Kelsey haven't played since Christmas. Kelsey quoted a famous pop star telling Pat McAfee he's feeling 22.
Is that Taylor Swift song?
Not familiar. Mahomes expecting
Definitely don't go to
a vintage. Go to Kelsey, take a look.
The greats, man, they step up in the playoffs, and it's just higher intensity, and the best players and the best leaders step up and make the best plays, and he's done that, and so I expect the same from him going into this playoffs. And I think his mentality that he steps on the football field with at practice and on game day, it kind of resonates with the entire team. They get everybody to play their best football, and that's what it takes in order to win championships.
Are we expecting an offensive explosion from Kansas City?
For the first half.
For the first half?
Yeah, I don't think the games start the weekend after, so I think that they will show as little as they can, but I think that you are going to see a Chiefs offense that looks even better than it closed the season looking, which, by the way, it does warrant mentioning that while every other quarterback will make excuses for Mahomes, who doesn't need any excuses, we will just ignore obvious evidence on. They built a team assuming that their major wide receiver acquisition of the summer was going to kind of be not the focal point, but one of the keys to the offense, and the guy broke his collarbone pre-season, and then the moment he got back and he played Patrick Mahomes, it's like, oh yeah, there was vintage Mahomes. And it's not even because we can show you the numbers with Hollywood Brown, but it's not because Hollywood Brown was great, it was because everything else pivoted off of that player being on the field. What are those numbers? Those are against 2 playoff teams, against the Houston defense that I'm now told is just, the steel curtain all of a sudden, and the Steelers team that obviously was falling apart with defense, what they leaned on. And I also think that Travis, 350 yards and 3 touchdowns in this playoff run, and Travis has every single non-quarterback offensive playoff run.
3 touchdowns.
He had 3 touchdowns, the last time they played the Texans in the playoffs, which was the start of the dynastic run.
How many games did he play this year? He played 16, right?
He played 16 games. He had 3 touchdowns.
So now you're going to say 3 in 3 games?
Well, he hasn't had a single playoffs in the last 5 years with fewer than 3 touchdowns. And so he's had 3 or 4. The last time he played the Texans in the playoffs, he had 3 touchdowns in that game. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think nobody grew is going to look better with the month off than Travis. And so, yeah, I think the Chiefs, I bet the Chiefs have 20 points at the half. And then, you know what I mean? Maybe they end at 27 and you can still hang your stupid 31-point stat out there. But I think that they're going to look great early.
I don't expect an offensive explosion because I don't think they'll need it. The Chiefs will do what they need to do to win. And I'm not predicting a nail-biter. I think they win by 10, 14 points, something like that, comfortably. But last year, and I know they didn't have Hollywood Brown last year. They didn't have Xavier Worthy last year, so they have better receivers.
They did have Rashee Rice, who was coming on strong.
Right. Yeah. But last year, the reason as somebody that picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, the reason I'm so afraid of the Chiefs is because of what they did last year, how they turned it on. But even though they turned it on from that bad regular season, it wasn't like they lit up the scoreboard. They averaged 21 points in the regular season, 23 in the postseason. They just did what they had to do to win. So, look, if Houston were to go out there and put up 27 points, then I think the Chiefs would put up 35 or something like that. But I think they'll probably be in the high 20s, and I don't see an explosion coming unless it's necessary, but I don't think it'll be necessary.
I don't see it at all. I spent all day trying to find a path for the Texans, and I don't see it.
A path for the Texans.
A path for the Texans. I see it. I don't know if I see an offensive explosion.
You kind of agree with me that they need it, but they won't need it.
I also think mentally, if you hooked all the Texans up to lie detectors, say like, hey, would you be okay with losing this game? I think it registers like, yeah. With all the injuries and everything we went through, and CJ's second year,
I believe that they'd be okay, but has this year already been a success?
Which means, yeah.
And I think the answer to that for the Texans, I think winning that.
Do you though? I mean, I think now, after a 4 regular season, but going into the year, they were expecting more.
I know, but I don't
totally
think
agree.
If they lose, they're not going to be devastated. One team would be devastated. One team would be absolutely devastated. The other team's like, you know what? With everything we went through this year,
Tim Sellers should be like, I gotta redeem myself. All that junkie talk last time.
So listen, the Chiefs have not. So the Rashee Rice thing, because that's the other thing. Rashee Rice, who was supposed to be their number 1 receiver all year, you know what I mean, hasn't been around since the first month of the year. But if you remember, Rashee Rice came on huge in the playoffs. I don't think Xavier Worthy is going to necessarily have that level of impact, but you have seen his usage, on the rise. No, we are yet to see the Chiefs with their fully healthy offensive line, plus Hollywood Brown, plus Pacheco back because it was kind of a slow build back, and whatever version we're going to get from Worthy, and oh yeah, by the way, what I think will look like vintage Travis Kelce for at least a couple weeks. We haven't seen that once all year.
Yeah.
So I would not be shocked if you see the Chiefs, opening script offense would just be like it is at the end of a game down for a guy to get a touchdown.
I've been waiting for that.
Right down the field.
I turn it on from the get-go.
Yeah, well, now that the games matter, they will.
For it. Cowboys need a new coach, and Jane Slater says, don't worry. Jerry is on a, quote, solo mission. It's like John Wick, if John Wick killed his own dog. So, do you trust Jerry Jones to get this right?
Well, there's one way for him to get it right, and it's not a difficult one, I don't think. Because I think if he does the right things, he will get the guy he should get. And that's hire Deion Sanders. That's the only way now he can get it right. Bill Belichick, off the market.
Maybe.
Mostly off the market.
Sure,
I think that would have been fine. Mike Vrabel's obviously gone. Mike Tomlin is a pipe dream. To me, I'm not saying there aren't other good coaches, candidates out there. But the one that I feel confident would go in there and do a great job is Deion Sanders. So all you have to do is offer the money and talk with Deion, whatever concessions you might need to make. I mean, I think there'll be give and take. and you get, I mean, look, Deion Sanders is a football coach. I know he said he wanted to coach his son and all that, but he's a
that's
football
bullshit.
coach. That's his profession.
It's just hung.
Who wouldn't want to
Is
coach
that
the
not?
Dallas Cowboys if you were an ex-player
That's
there
bullcrap.
and a great player won a Super Bowl there? Like, this, the glitz, the glamour, he brought it to Boulder, Colorado. You wouldn't have to bring it to the Cowboys. It would be there. Like, this is set up on a platter for Jerry Jones. If he doesn't get Deion, then no, I don't think he'll get it right. I mean, it might be Kellen Moore. It might, I don't know, Cliff Kingsbury. Whoever he hires, he's going, if he doesn't get Deion, he's going to hire somebody that's kind of vanilla, maybe cheap, and doesn't have a, you know, lets Jerry remain the face of the franchise and all that. And it'll be, even if the guy has success like McCarthy did, it won't be enough.
He's not going to spend the money.
He doesn't, I'm not afraid of spending money.
Really? He's
On
not?
the Cowboys?
He doesn't.
God damn it, man.
He had the, I mean, on the roster and cash spending last decade, they're near the bottom of the league. He lets coaches' contracts expire rather than fire and pay them for not coaching with them. Last year, the season ended in as horrifying fashion as possible. He clearly was not in love with Mike McCarthy, didn't want to pay two coaches at once. He's not paying Deion's buyout and the money to get him. Listen, if I'm wrong, I think it would be very fascinating and interesting. So I kind of I sometimes say this, but I'm usually lying when I say I hope I'm wrong. I actually do hope I'm wrong about this because it is such good for the content business. But I think this whole thing is, I mean, they interviewed Robert Saleh today. Like, I think we're more along those lines. I think this whole thing is Jerry Jones, and I'm a little resentful of it because this weekend, coming weekend, is my single favorite sports weekend of the year. I think divisional round in the NFL playoffs is the best 48 hours of sports all year, and now we get the College Football National Championship game as a bonus on Monday. And Jerry, through agents and marketing firms, has conspired to hijack the news cycle a bit. And if I thought it was legitimate, then I'd be interested.
You don't think he's even like...
No. I do not think that Deion Sanders is going to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I think Jerry has just found a way to be in every show's A block during the best football week of the year, and I don't like it.
Well, I should have told us that in the meeting.
I did say that.
Well, I think it's good. Next on FS1 and the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM, the latest chapter of our Eagles-Rams saga. Stay tuned.
Previously
What happened to the hard flag?
Nick, man, I don't like the way you've been flirting with the Rams.
I'm insulted by this question. I'm an Eagles guy. The Eagles are my pick.
Here comes one of the worst bits that we do.
Lyles, will you do the honors?
It says, to Mickey Pooh, from you know who. You and I have always been meant to be together. Forever yours, the Rams to the Super Bowl take.
I can't hide it anymore. I've always loved this team.
Are you serious? You have got to be kidding me. Are you serious? That's how you do it after all this time. After all this time. After all this time, you what? You didn't what?
I'm sorry.
You're sorry. You're sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry. That's all you have to say to yourself. After all this time. Really?
I'll take it.
You know what, Chris? Call me.
Oh.
Thank you.
You know what? You deserve that. You deserve that. You deserve that.
Lumber Liquidators is open and ready to save you big money on a beautiful new floor. See our flooring experts at over 200 locations nationwide. Save at least 50% on a new floor. See lumberliquidators.com.
When I was younger, my calling was to play football. But as I grew older, I realized life isn't about how many people you can knock down. It's about how many people you can lift up.
Ah, you should have caught that bitch.
To build game-changing Nothing can stop you from answering.
Right now, during the Ram Start Something New sales event, get $6,500 total cash allowance on the purchase of selected 2025 Ram 1500 trucks. See your local Ram dealer today.
Man, get the fuck out of here, man.
Provides soothing, non-medicated Vic Vapors. Easy to apply.
Bro, that nigga got 100 yards every time he ran up the middle on me, bro. That's such bullshit.
New Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vic Vapors.
Subway's got a new meal of the day. Chips and a drink for just $6.99. Or if you're big hungry, make it a footlong for only $3 more. Huh, big hungry. Is that a thing? That should be a thing.
So the Missouri offense heads back out onto the field. And with time quickly fading here before halftime, wouldn't expect them to be too aggressive at this point. On 1st and 10, looking to throw. And he's got his man open downfield. An explosive play, moves the ball across midfield and spot it at the 38. Offense stops the clock with their second timeout to talk strategy. How aggressive will they be on this first down play? And a timeout is called to talk strategy. Close game here as we approach halftime. Here's a 1st and 10 play. Pre-snap motion from the receiver. Quarterback changing the play now at the line. And looking to throw now on 1st down. And he's going to stretch the defense, taking a deep shot here.
Oh, my gosh, Chris, a missed opportunity to your best receiver with that speed. I'll tell you this, I'm shocked that he actually overthrew. If anything, I'd expect him to underthrow a fleet-footed receiver like this, but he must have anticipated that his receiver could go get it, just misses him.
Close to the tight end. And that one is incomplete with just 9 seconds on the clock.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out the punishment, but here, he's the one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, he's unable to hold on to the football.
Here's a shot toward the end zone. Oh, and it's batted down by the defense. Great play to deny a touchdown.
Hey, it's an incompletion, but it's a nice job by the quarterback. I know it didn't pan out, but the most important thing is he didn't turn the football over and he didn't take a sack. It'll give your kicker a chance to put some points on the board if they opt for the field goal here on 4th down.
Timeout is called to talk strategy. Time for just 1 or 2 plays here before halftime. Just time enough for 1 more play in the half. Down. He's throwing for it. He's going to take another shot right here. And the pass ball is incomplete on the final play of this first half. Minutes going to wrap up the first half here. Let's kick it down to Kevin Connors with our halftime update. And they'll kick it off to begin the second half. And he'll bring it out from inside the 10. Will be tackled at the 18. That's good coverage there. Here comes the Missouri offense back out on the field. And they'll start the 3rd quarter here on the ground. Breaking free at the 35. Oh, and he's in the clear now. It's a foot race. Finally, they make the tackle, but this defense reeling after a huge explosive play. Big guys up front lined up. It's 1st down.
Well, you can just feel the home crowd standing in their feet when this running back had a chance to start to accelerate downfield. They know exactly what this guy is capable of doing and that he can flat out go. He took off on that one.
Gain makes it 2nd and medium. Trying to find some room. It's Roberts. Tackled, but only after picking up a fresh set of downs.
Well, much like what we saw in the first half, Chris, of this playoff game, no adjustments. Go right back to giving his running back the football. He's had a monster day and continues to get positive yards.
And in First down, they go right back to him.
Well, the defensive coordinator this week all week telling us about gap integrity, not giving this running back any creases at all. Really sound defense on that play.
Second down after that run on the previous play. Looks like the QB is changing the play at the line. They'll switch it up, looking to throw. Trying to extend the play. Caught near the goal line. And they stop him just short of the end zone. The offense set up with a first and goal now. The offense sets up in scoring position with a new set of downs. On first down, it's play action. Looking to scramble. He'll be sacked back at the 2-yard line. He'll be muscled out of bounds very close to the goal line.
On first and goal, the real estate to work with for the offense is really slim, and the defense knows it. So they often like to bring pressure, which they did here, and it pays off.
Coming up, second down and goal. Send the back in motion. Hands off to the fullback. Touchdown, Tigers. This offense cannot be stopped.
Ah, the hammer. Second down and goal. Who better than the big fullback to get behind that big bruising offensive line? Old school touchdown for this offense.
PAT makes it an 8-point game. Getting set to kick the ball off now. He'll call for the fair catch here. Here comes the Arizona offense back out on the field. They're coming off a quick 3-and-out, so looking to put something together on this drive with a little more urgency. And they'll run it out of the shotgun. It's a 2-yard gain. Second and 8 coming up. Here comes the up-tempo offense. Looking to pass. It's Fafita. Pass ball is incomplete. There was a lot of contact. No penalty. Brings up third down.
Well, these guys just continue to struggle throwing the football. You know, whether it's been running the wrong route, the quarterback not being accurate, the offensive line not doing their job. It's been a collective effort, and it's a big reason why they're trailing now in this game.
On third down, he drops to throw. He's moving out of the pocket. And the sack is made. That's a nice play there by the sophomore.
A lot of times we get caught up, Chris, in the one-on-one battles with the receivers and the DBs. Here's a great example of up front, the offensive line and the defensive line. Who wins that battle? This time the defense wins it, and they get the sack.
And the returner brought down by the coverage team. So the Missouri offense heads back out onto the field. The last drive, the ground game was so successful. Ended in a touchdown. We'll see if the defense can... The ball is loose. The defense recovers the fumble.
Oh, what a play by this defense. Trailing in the second half. Really, the only way you can get back into this game is create turnovers. Ball's on the ground, they pounce on it, and they get the ball back to their own offense.
Here comes the opening play of the drive. They begin at their own 45-yard line. And the wideout goes in motion. They flip it to him on the jet sweep. Oh, and he breaks free. It's a foot race. Touchdown, Wildcats. Made the defense look slow that time. That's a crucial score. Let's see if they can build momentum and complete this comeback.
Well, I know they're still trailing, but that score is a great first step in trying to break down this lead. You don't want to leave it all to the fourth quarter when the pressure really intensifies and you have limited time.
Coach deciding to go for the two-point conversion to tie the score right here. The quarterback's got it on the option. And he runs it into the end zone, and those 2 points will tie the football game.
Well, that is perfection here on the two-point conversion by this quarterback. Stretched it out, gave a little bit of a hint that he might pitch it, instead keeps it himself for the 2 points.
Now they get set to kick it away.
Set to kick this one away.
So no return on this one. Ball just bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Here comes the Missouri offense back out onto the field. The last possession ended in a fumble, and that set up a touchdown. So they got to bounce back from that right away. They bring him down to the 32-yard line.
I know this defense worked very hard at halftime to come up with answers on how to try to slow down this running back after the big first half, and he's already at it again.
Off the play fake, looking to throw the football. Gets rid of it on the move. Tight end makes the grab. He'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage.
Chris, we get so caught up in these wide receivers and their playmaking ability and getting them the ball in space. And like the defense has to pay attention to them. Often too much attention opens up an underneath drag route like this, and the quarterback makes a good read. Nice first down.
On the run, it's Roberts. Finding enough space for a solid gain before they stop him.
Well, that's another good run for him, but what else is new? That ought to put him right at 150 yards for the game. He has really made his presence felt today.
They look to throw it here on second down. Grab behind the line. It's Roberts. And they wrap it up after the completion just short of the first down marker. On third and short, they hand the ball off. Breaking free at the 35. They make the first down, brought down to the 31.
How about that offensive line? That's just getting a hat on a hat, opening just enough room for the back to be able to get through there for a big gain.
This Missouri offense is moving quickly down the field. They'll run it to the right side. Jukes to get free. Brought down, but broken tackle to produce a solid gain there.
Great job by the offensive line here, opening up some holes and giving the running back room to run on first down. Plays like this can open up the playbook for the play caller, allow him to make that defense think, are they going to run? Maybe play action, maybe throw the ball downfield.
They'll change the pre-snap look now. Quarterback looking to throw it on second down. Caught over the middle. It's Manning. He's got some room. Can he get there? Touchdown, Missouri. And they go in front here in the second half. But Kirk, this quarterback told us this is my time to shine. A playoff game. He has gone out and backed that up so far.
Yeah, he's done everything that's been asked of him and more. Just a great job of getting into a rhythm. Really tough to defend. Right now, the defensive coordinator, you can see him down there. He's throwing his headset. He's frustrated. He's got to come up with some new wrinkles to try to slow this guy down.
Here's the kickoff team. Let's see if they give the returner an opportunity to bring this back. And the returner decides to signal fair catch. Okay, so the Arizona offense heads back out of the field now. Last time out, a one-play touchdown drive through the air, and they keep it going here. Using his legs, it's Johnson. They've got him, but he picks up 8 yards, sets up a nice 2nd and 2. No huddle here for the offense. Oh, a reverse. And they'll tackle him for a loss of 5 yards.
think the offensive line gave the back much of a chance at all. Now, give credit to the defense. It was almost like they were anticipating a run and got up close to the line of scrimmage in a hurry.
Offense facing a 3rd and long from the 28. Got to have your pass protection in order in this play. He's looking deep here. Catch made. It's a big play inside the 30. They could not stop him. He's in. Touchdown, Arizona.
Boy, this guy has a knack for the end zone, doesn't he? That's 2 touchdowns for this guy today, and I don't know if he's done yet.
He knocks through the PAT and ties the score here in the 3rd period. Here's the kickoff team now, set to boot this one away. And that kick will just bound into the end zone for a touchback. So the Missouri offense heads back out onto the field. They really had the defense off balance in the last possession, mixing the run and pass extremely well. Quick throw to his receiver. Fired into a tight window and picked off. Not much on the return there, but the takeaway will set up the offense at the 38.
Well, the quarterback ends up being a tad aggressive, and he ends up paying for it with a pick. I get that that might be part of his playing style, but there's a difference between being aggressive and being careless.
The offensive coordinator's got to love this starting field position. And the quarterback keeps it on the option. Runner finding some space there. That's a solid gain on the ground. Offense getting set for a 2nd down here to begin the quarter. Takes the ball and heads to the left. They bring him down, but that's a solid gain on the play.
You know, offensive linemen are just a certain breed. They're always going to do their job, no matter who's back there carrying the ball. I'll tell you what, they have a little bit more confidence when the person that's carrying the ball can break off some big-time runs. That makes him block just a little bit harder, knowing what he's potentially capable of doing.
Looking to throw. It's Fafita. Quick throw. Catch made on the out route. And he's out of bounds after gaining decent yardage.
Chris, a really great job here with the quarterback and the receiver. This is all about timing. Quarterback gets back, no hitch in his delivery, gets the ball out in front of the receiver where he can run away from the defender for a nice completion.
Here comes a crucial 2nd down play. Every yard tough to find down here in the red zone. The tackle is made, but the offense is now set up with a 1st and goal from the 8.
Look, I realize on any play call, when it's properly executed, it can go to the house for a touchdown. But the runs that really make a game plan work are the ones where you get just what you need. And he barely got the 1st down, but he got it.
They've got a 1st and goal. The offense a great chance to break the tie here late in the game. That's a nice wrap up there by the junior. See if the offense can punch it in on 2nd and goal. Trying for the touchdown on the right side. Solid tackle, able to get him down. Urgency here in the 4th quarter. They must cut into this lead. It's 3rd down and goal. They'll try to run this one in. Touchdown, Wildcats. And they claim the lead here in the final quarter.
Man, that's another touchdown for this guy. This defense better adjust and get eyes into that backfield, or he may go for a 3rd or a 4th later today.
Here comes the point after attempt. PAT is up and good. They lead by a touchdown here in the fourth quarter.
That makes the score Arizona 35, Missouri 28.
Kickoff team is on the field to boot this one away.
Set to kick this one away.
And this won't be returnable out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here comes the Missouri offense back out on the field. See if this quarterback can bounce back. The last possession, a pick on the very first play. And the run moves the ball up to the 33. Second down after that run on the previous play. Timeout called by the defense, their first of the half, as they try to make some adjustments here.
Timeout, Arizona.
Offense getting set. It's second down. Same tailback, another carry. Brought down, but not before shaking off the first defender and picking up the first down.
Well, it's a nice job up front by the offensive line, but give the running back an assist for setting those blocks up before he's able to get downfield for the first down.
Keeping it on the ground here.
It's a good, solid game. 5 or 6 yards. Love to see that from the running game.
Here's the second down play. They'll run it from the gun. The defense all over it. They stop him right at the line. So now it's third and short from the 43. Can they keep the drive going or perhaps face a tough fourth down decision? Quarterback drops back. Trying to create outside the pocket now. That's a quick shovel pass. They bring him down, but not before he gains first down yardage.
Really good job here of converting by this offense. And let's face it, at this point in the game, because they have such a big hole to climb out of, they've got to be able to convert and come up with a new set of downs. They do it here. Now they got a real shot to cut into this lead.
And a big game before he goes out of bounds. The offense keeps churning, gets a fresh set of downs.
Well, this is what coaches love to see. A quarterback with the ability to read the defense properly and then just get it to the open man. Sometimes it sounds simple, but it's tough to execute. This time we have good recognition by the quarterback. Then he gets it down to the tight end. You can see what he can do after the catch.
On the ground, it's Roberts. Shows off the moves there, but ultimately not much of a gain.
It's a really good, solid run. I know it's not the flashiest big play, but it's important for your offense to be able to get yards like that on early downs. You stay ahead of the chains, and it opens up the playbook for the second and third down coming up.
They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1.
This guy has been dominant all afternoon long, but that time, the defense has got to be asking themselves, where has that been? They finally get to him behind the line.
So now from the 27, the offense faces a third and short. How aggressive will they play it? There's the snap. Quarterback setting up the throw. Fires it to the wideout. Oh, nice play by the defender. Got a hand in there to break up the pass.
Oh, he just misses receiver there on third and short. Now you got to think in the fourth quarter, fourth and short, you got to try to cut into this lead. You might want to go for this here to keep thinking about 6 points.
So here we we go. Down one score. They're going to go for it on fourth down. Quarterback adjusting now to the defense. And he's throwing for it on fourth down. Finds his man, has the first down. They bring him down, but wow, the freshman showing off the arm strength.
Just great execution here on this fourth down to keep this drive alive. And what I love is the accuracy from the quarterback and a good job by the receiver knowing where that route needed to be able to catch the ball and pick up the first down.
And we've reached the 2-minute warning as this offense tries to steal a late-game comeback victory. This could be a dramatic finish, marching toward a tying touchdown. It's 1st and 10. Ball handed off. They've got him, but not before a solid gain on the ground.
Well, let's give credit to the offensive line here. They went with a run blitz. The offensive line sees it, picks it up, gives them enough room to pick up some solid yards.
Sticking with the running game. Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 2.
Things just appear to be a bit out of sync from the get-go on that one. Give credit to the front seven of that defense for staying in the proper lanes and getting to the ball carrier, not let him dance around and make something out of nothing.
This is crucial. Defense needing a stop on third down, trying to force a field goal. Quarterback in the shotgun here on third down. Catch made on the out route. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers.
Chris, how about that execution? Great throw by the quarterback. The receiver does his job and then takes it into the end zone. And now we've got an interesting situation here. Late in the game in a playoff, do you kick the extra point to tie this up, or do you go for 2 to potentially take the lead?
And the important PAT is up and good. We're tied in the 4th. Fields it just outside the goal line. Gets it to the 25-yard line. That's where they'll start the drive. Here comes the Arizona offense back out on the field. Your worst-case scenario, go to overtime. But can they make something happen here? Try to win it in regulation. Let's see. Caught in the backfield. It's Harvey. And the defense smothers him for no gain. Timeout called by the defense. They'll go to the sideline and try to adjust. It's their first timeout. Not much time left. The offense has a shot to end this in regulation. Looking to throw. It's Fafita. It's a quick grab. They bring down the receiver, but that's a nice gain on that play. And now a timeout quickly called by the defense as they try to get everybody on the same page here. The catch makes it a more manageable third down. Can they pick up the first on the ground? Tackle made after a nice pickup on the play. They move the 6. They'll hurry to the line here on first down now. And now the defense decides to spend a timeout to regroup a bit. Arizona getting set with a 1st and 10 coming up. Handoff here from the shotgun.
I think this defense keeps thinking about them throwing the football, and by doing that, they're opening up running lanes. Good positive yards there by the running back.
Testing the defense with a throw downfield. Tried to go very deep there. Good effort, but now it's third down.
Now that's going to bring up a critical third down here as we're late into this football game and a drive where they need points. This quarterback's got to take control of this huddle, make sure everybody's on the same page. You have multiple plays that you could go to, whether it's a run or a pass, but you've got to come up with a first down.
Third down, out of the shotgun. Caught on the outside. It's Harvey.
Well, this is a great catch. He does a nice job of getting his feet down to set up a that marker and pick up a first down.
Tie ball game late, and they're going for it on fourth down. Using the ground game here. Tailback has the handoff. That moves the football inside the 40, and it's another first down. And the offense takes timeout to stop the clock with just 11 seconds remaining. First and 10 play coming up. To the air, it's Fafita. And that one's incomplete with just 7 seconds left on the clock. So after the incompletion, it's second down. From the shotgun, here's an inside give. And they tackle him, but a nice pickup on that running play. And a timeout is taken with just 1 second remaining in the game.
Timeout, Arizona.
Coach is going to take the 3 points. Here comes the field goal unit. Ball spotted at the 31. A 48-yard field goal attempt to win it. It's good. This playoff run continues with a kick for the ages. Of course, in the playoffs, it's survive and advance. This is a crucial W. Great performance, but now the stage gets even bigger. The challenges will continue going forward.
Yeah, more and more pressure will grow as this team continues to win football games, but you and I have been around this team all year long. So impressed with the emotions and how they're able to contain themselves, stay focused on the task at hand. They did that again today. They advance. Cannot wait to watch and see what they can do next week.
And that is going to wrap it up. We enjoyed this one here. For Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Chris Fowler, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football. Welcome, folks, to Glendale, Arizona, and State Farm Stadium, site of this year's Verbo Fiesta Bowl, which, of course, is part of the college football